What's going down, everybody? I got story time. Story time, man. And I'm gonna start this one off with a kiss. Yeah. Never kiss and tell, right? Not on this one, man. Now it's this could be a little thing, man, for you guys to keep in mind. If you're a new tech that's gonna be wanting to be coming into the heavy duty industry or the mechanic industry in any sector, whether it be automotive or the heavy duty side, heavy machinery, ag, you know what I'm saying? Any of that. Um, a lesson I was taught. It was a lesson I was taught by my lead tech, and which the acronym is actually KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You know. Uh, so I'm gonna break it down, man, with the story and my personal experience and where I was taught to keep it simple. It's actually not the exact same scenario, but it's actually happened to me a couple of times, man, where you get this truck in, at least in my personal experience again, right? You get a truck in, or I got a truck in, and connected to it, pulled up some codes, whatnot, and the two times that it happened, one was with power issues, and then the other one, well, it didn't actually really tell me it was power issues. You know what I'm saying? It was we'll get more deep into it later on, man. And the other one was fuel issues. So the one with the fuel issues, man. That's why I say keep it simple, stupid. Because when you find out, sometimes whenever you find out just how easy the repair was, it'll make you feel stupid. You know. So that that's where that's where it makes sense. Anyways, I had this truck, man. Forgot if it was a Peterbilt or a Kenworth, man, but it came in, hooked up to it, low fuel pressure codes. You know what I'm saying? So I checked around, I looked around, inspected the fuel filters, and the fuel filters were dirty. And before I start diving deeper into it, when I would turn the truck on, you'd have the truck running for about 5 minutes, it would die out. You know what I'm saying? And then when it died out, you actually had to reprime the system. It was an MX engine, pack car. You had to reprime the system, get it cranked up again. You know what I'm saying? It was just an ongoing thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't intermittent. It was happening like every 10, 15 minutes. When you would actually finally get the truck started, it would just turn off again. You know. So I mean, I looked around. Like I said, I saw the filters. The filters were kind of plugged up or clogged, whatever you want to call it, dirty. In other words, replace the filters. And then I started digging deeper into it. Started thinking about what could potentially cause low fuel pressure codes and this and that, and started pulling up test procedures. It started running certain tests. And long story short, I mean, everything was checking out. Everything was checking out. I had the truck for about a day, man, almost a full day, and I couldn't get it figured out. I couldn't get it figured out. And I called up my lead tech, man. Shout out to my lead tech. If you're seeing this, you know who you are, man. I'm not gonna put your name on blast just in case, I didn't ask for permission. Um, but I talked to him and I was like, hey, man, could you help me out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm stuck, man. Like everything I'm doing is just, I'm stuck on everything. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, I'll be out there. So he went out there with me. Got to the truck, started looking around. I showed him the codes. I told him, like, man, I'm checking this out. Everything's checking out. It's this and this and this. I replaced the filters, so forth and so forth. Laid it all out to him. And he's like, all right. He starts looking around. He's like, okay, well, first thing, he goes, you see these braided lines? These braided lines are already, they're rubbing out. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be bad. You're going to have to get them replaced. And he's looking at something. And he's like, hey, man, why does this line look crooked like this? And this is where it made me feel stupid, man. Like, he literally just grabbed it and turned it. And it was loose. You know what I'm saying? No, actually, no. Yeah, it was loose. It was loose, but it wasn't like that loose. You know what I'm saying? Like we had, it was just kind of off a little bit. That's what it was. It was off a little bit, so it had like a lock fitting on it. So when I put my wrench on it and actually turned it, that's when you could see that it was loose. You know what I'm saying? So that made me feel stupid. We still ended up replacing the lines because the lines they were already they were porous. So I mean, you did have like two issues, but again, man, like I said, I mean, this is just me being real. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me in my personal experience, and then I was like, man, if I just would have started with the very basics and not overthink it and not trying to make a bigger deal than what it actually was. You know what I'm saying? I would have found it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, go back to the basics, make sure everything's nice and tight. It wouldn't have cost me anything, but like 15, 20 minutes to get my wrenches and start checking all the lines to see if they were tight. Because what I had done originally was just kind of grab them by hand and try to move them. And like, no, it's not moving. Okay, it's tight. You know what I'm saying? Well, that hand's tight isn't tight. You know what I mean? So that was one scenario. And again, that's what I was taught. Keep it simple, man. Like, he didn't say stupid. Like, he's a respectful gentleman, so he didn't say stupid. He was like, man, just remember, man, you got to keep it simple. I'm like, all right, you're right, man. Like I said, respect to him. And then the other one was the other one wasn't actually. I'm not gonna say it was my fault. You know what I'm saying? Call it an excuse, if you will. But a customer brought their truck to us and had me look at it, and he started going off about he had power issues, like I said earlier, and what was happening was not really power issues; it was cranking issues rather. You know what I'm saying? And what he was saying that every time he would crank the truck, like it was kind of weak, and it would like and then you know what I'm saying, and then it would finally catch on, and then it would crank up and go. You know what I'm saying? And then while it was on, you didn't really have no issues or anything to speak of. So like, okay. And he's like, man, he goes, we already replaced the batteries. He goes, because it would do it to me a lot. You know what I'm saying? And we just recently had the batteries replaced. The driver, he had the starter replaced. He went to another shop and he had the starter replaced and this and that. So I was like, okay. So I started looking around for loose grounds and stuff like that, and I didn't find anything, man. So I had to start digging deeper, and that one was a Peterbilt, and I inquired with one of my friends that works at Peterbilt, and long story short, man, I started kind of blowing it up out of proportion, and I had that truck for about a day again, and when I got home, took a shower, ate, what I'm saying, I was relaxing, I was just thinking about it, and I had to tell myself that time. This time was a personal pep talk. I'm like, man, you gotta keep it simple, man. I go, let's start from the very beginning, from the very basics, you know, and so yeah, we went back the next day, and I started looking at it, and I started from point A. And when I started at point A, which was the batteries, I found out that whenever they put the batteries on there, they left one of the cables completely off. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, I keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not saying that that one. I'm not chunking it as it being completely my fault, but it does tell you to always start at the beginning and keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Start at the basics. Um, the reason why is because he was telling me like, no, we already replaced the batteries, we replaced the starters. So in my mind, it was already like, okay, well, it's not gonna be batteries, it's not gonna be the starter because they just replaced them, and he already had this issue. Well, I mean, he might have had that issue. Maybe it got corrected when they replaced the starter or whatever, or the batteries were draining down, and they just created another issue, another similar issue to what they were having before. It might sound weird, it might sound coincidental, but that's what it is. That's what it was. But ultimately, I mean, I found it was completely off, and it was one of the main battery cables to the starter. So I put it on, tried it out. You know what I'm saying? Turn it off, turn it on several times. You know what I'm saying? And nothing, man. I mean, it was that was the solution. You know what I'm saying? Um. So again, I mean, if I would have kept it simple, if I would have started at the very beginning with the basics, I mean, I would have. You know what I'm saying? I would have found it that quickly. I wouldn't have to spend so much time on it. Excuse me. Unfortunately, I did lose time, and I trusted what the customer was telling me. I mean, but you do have to trust the customer, right? It's not like what I'm saying, like they're complete, idiots or anything like that, man. I mean, they're the ones who we have to interview to try to get as much information as we can. But as a technicians, we have to. It's our responsibility to actually start at the beginning, not just because they said something, take it as gospel and move on with it and don't even look at it, don't or not even consider it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to go back and be like, okay, all right, like you touch this, okay, well maybe you created an issue. I mean, you're not gonna tell them that, but I'm just thinking inside your head, right? Like, okay, maybe you created this issue, and then go back and recheck their work or whatever work another shop might have done. So like I said, man, I mean, those are two stories, man, that happened in my personal experience where I was actually taught that, and they've helped me out quite a bit because I mean, there's already been after that, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that this is never gonna happen to me again, but after that, I've had multiple trucks already, man, with issues and stuff like that. And the first thing I tell myself is let's keep it simple. You know what I'm saying? Start at the basics, keep it simple, and mentally just try to formulate a strategy on how to troubleshoot it, and then try to execute it to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? And every once in a while, you do get those trucks where they become nightmare trucks, as we call them, right? You hang on to them for. I mean, like these two trucks. I mean, they weren't that much of a headache or that much of a nightmare. We've had worse trucks than that at where I work, but we still had to keep on to those trucks for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And if we would have again started at the beginning and kept it simple, we probably would have found it a lot quicker, and this would have just been more fluent. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like I said, you get those trucks in where they do become nightmares. You know what I'm saying? But try to exhaust all your resources first, all your basic resources first. I guess it's the best way to state it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you try to start at the beginning, like with the power issue. Like I said on there, I always start with the batteries, man. Go start from the batteries, and then start working your way all the way over there. Loose cables, loose grounds, battery starters, so forth, so forth, so forth. You know, and if it's not that, then start thinking elsewhere. Start thinking into a bigger picture, a bigger, more in depth, if you will. So I'm not gonna make this long winded, man. Like I said, just keep it simple. Nah, I'm not gonna say that, man. It's gonna make me sound like I'm calling you guys that, man. But nah, they just keep it simple, man. Like I said, just keep it simple and start at the basics, man. So with that being said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. Those are two times where it made me feel stupid. So I hope you guys get a little chuckle out of this, man. But on that note, God bless each and every single one of you guys, man. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. God bless each and every single one of you guys, man. I will see you guys on the next one.